You're listening to Sonny's Monday Motivation here on loudmouthradio.com. Greetings, guys. What's going on? It's your favorite host, Sonny. I hope everyone is doing extremely well wherever you are listening to this content. I just want to start off telling you that I have sincere gratitude that you're taking the time out of your day to take a listen to what I got to say. Oh man, if you haven't had an opportunity and this is your first time listening in on Loudmouth Radio Network, I just want to tell you that we are so grateful to be present, to be amongst the living, and the opportunity to be able to talk to you today is always a blessing for me. So I'm going to get right into the context of this conversation today, which is touching on something that I've had to do myself personally. I think that majority of the time, any of the conversation topics and things of that nature that I am taking the time to touch bases on the things that I've experienced personally. And it's so funny, the other day, I was actually just kind of in the midst of a daydreaming moment. I was reflecting on some of the content that I've recorded on this Sonny's Monday Motivational platform. And I was kind of asking myself, like, have I really centered myself to share some things that I know to be my own experience? Have I been more insightful about speaking from that space? And I said, going forward, I just want to make sure that I'm touching and tapping into those areas that I feel like maybe other people can connect to and understand. Not that I don't feel like I share some aspects, but I was like, you know what, maybe I can, dig a little deeper. And, as I was, kind of making my own notes about what I wanted to touch on today, one of the things that I was physically working through at this particular time that I was preparing for this content was just kind of working through some areas in which I had wanted to put myself in better position to get done. And I found myself just taking the mindset at that particular time, like I needed to feel like I was pushing through some of my own internal chatter. A lot of mental things that, a lot of times we may be dealing with can cause us to feel like we're not advancing. And so at times like that, you have to kind of go beyond what it is that you need to do in front of you and find ways to find yourself the ability to, what the topic of this conversation for me is pushing through, and I feel like so many people, especially as of late, dealing with the complexities of the world and a lot of change has been going on. And, if you're one of those people like myself that understands elastically that our climate and our atmosphere and a lot of things are adjusted a lot of times according to what's going on in the stars. And we're in a retrograde period. So I'm sure a lot of people are experiencing some levels of consciousness and unconsciousness. It just really depends on how much they are tapped into their immediate surroundings and their own level of nature. But I know for me, I have found myself in a very reflective mode in regards to challenging what is the next thing for me to work on, to work through, or to work towards. So I wanted to basically make this particular conversation be about just that, pushing through. And, for some, they may think that may not be a positive aspect or maybe a real thing that people need to acknowledge, but I think there's quite a few people that understand that there are times when your will is not just enough, and maybe even though what your calendar schedule or your work requires, sometimes you need that extra just to push through to get it done. And I feel like sometimes people might be finding themselves feeling bad that they feel that way. And you can beat yourself up thinking that I should not feel motivated to do what I need to do to take care of my responsibilities, but that's not necessarily true. There's quite a few people out here in the world that's navigating so many things, whether it's physical aspects of challenges, psychological, emotional, mental, you name it. And, if you're a person that's conscious in the world, it's kind of hard not to know that there's a level of things that are going on around you. You would have to absolutely just kind of really be in the dark, I think, to not see or hear about the level of things or read about the level of things that are going on. If you're on social media, probably more than not, you're seeing a lot of stuff that you have to really consciously work to try to filter out. So I think that for the majority, um, everybody starts their day differently. And I know for me, um, I feel like I've been in this warped time period for the last few months, and it's been extremely challenging, in so many different ways. But, you know what, I want to say you still show up, and that's not even the proper term. I think um, that it is possible to go day to day and just kind of be existing and not doing anything. And I won't say that does not mean that you're not working towards something in the in the mental space, but you physically may not be applying it. But I think it's extremely important to maintain something that gives you some level of inspiration, and it allows you to be able to say, "Yo, I'm going to push through this, no matter what it looks like," right? And know that it's possible to make it through. Um, some people have things that they read. Some people have, like podcasts. There's quite a few podcasts. I know that for many people, they're just kind of getting um, open to podcasts and recognizing the level of opportunity to hear the variation of things across the world. But podcasts have become a very growing and popular level of communication. As you can see, us here at on Radio 9 years, we've been utilizing our platform to provide insight and conversations and media coverage. And it's been an amazing journey. And even for myself, I'm like, I have to lean in more. I have to show up more. And, what better way than to put yourself in a position to reach millions and millions of people, right? But that's my journey. So for you, I don't know what it is that you may have going on, whether it's, personally, some school or your dynamics of your family, or just even your own individual pursuits of different things. I always like to make a reflection about, it's not just what I'm dealing with, but maybe what you also can connect to and understand in some form or fashion, that you can take some of the things that I'm saying and apply it to what you may have going on personally. The best thing about it is that there's more than enough of light than it is darkness. And what I mean by that is that, if you get caught up listening to the news, watching the news, that can instantly put you in a level of depression or anxiety. You ain't even aware. But there's also tons of people and content and books and inspirational things that can enlighten and brighten your path and brighten your day. And I definitely say lean into those things. Find what connects to you or what makes sense to you. And even if it's not something that you can necessarily put a word to, or a name to, or a description to, but you know what you feel, work toward feeling better, right? Sometimes you might have to stop whatever it is that you're doing, and it may be right in front of you, and lean into something that makes you feel better. Watch something that makes you laugh. Do something that may make you feel better, like, giving back or volunteering, or just taking the time to check on somebody you maybe haven't talked to them in a while. And you'll be surprised that that person may respond back to you in such a way that makes you feel better, because they can tell you, hey, I missed you. I hadn't heard from you. I hadn't heard your voice. It's good to talk to you. What's going on in your world? And you can dive into what's going on in their world and just have a moment to break away from whatever it is that may be leaning in on you mentally. I think that, there's a lot of conversation about recessions and, the conversation about, COVID is unfortunately still going on in our communities. So there's a lot of fear and uncertainty that is lingering, especially when it comes to people dealing with finances or their livelihoods, or their family dynamics can or will be affected by decisions that are being made around them. So I think it's so important that we work towards just trying to take control over what we can, and let it work toward our favor versus letting it just have its way with us, right? So for me, what is pushing through looks like, sometimes it can be applying applications to something, or just completing a task, completing a checklist, completing a shift at work, right? And also recognizing that you did do it. Sometimes we get into these phases where we become redundant, and we become accustomed to doing things, and we don't pay attention to how it makes us feel or what we're doing. And in that sense, you don't really necessarily think, okay, you just, occupied yourself for 10 to 12 hours, but you got it done. And the result of you getting it done, or you participating in the volume of whatever that workload was, it resulted in the experience of something else on the other side. It may have helped a crew or a passenger or an individual person or a team to complete whatever task that they had before them by you doing your part. So, it's important, too, that we give ourselves credit that by showing up and following through on what it is that we need to do, that we're successful in our own endeavors. So I just kind of want to make this a daily dosage, daily, but a weekly opportunity to speak within a small frame of time to give you some insight and just be enough to give you enough to get going to the next time we can actually have this conversation again. I think for the most part, people's attention spans can vary, and I don't want to drag you out in context of something that does not continue to keep and maintain your interest. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you today as I wrap this content is that if you can, set a goal. If it's nothing more than every week, you set a goal, one or two goals that you would like to accomplish. And, as your week is going by, check in on it and move closer to whatever that thing is. I have a birthday coming up in a few weeks, and I'm very, very grateful to be able to have another year around the sun. And for me, I'm in the process of doing some heavy rebranding with my real estate. And so that project is in front of me, right? Right now, I'm motivated in regards to certain things and certain dynamics that I know I need to get accomplished. My birthday is coming up in less than 12 days. So that's giving me a measurement of time to work towards something. And so for me, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm leaning into what it is that I want to accomplish. I wrote down certain things, and then I could just kind of go back to that checklist and not knock things off as I get closer to them. So it's little things like that I think that we need to recognize is so important for us to give ourselves credit, right? And to know that you are moving and going forward with things. So I want to encourage you today to just work towards digging a little deeper and allow that opportunity to help you push yourself through. So until next time, guys, I look forward to hearing your feedback. So be sure to visit us at liveoffradio.com. You had the opportunity to also find us on Facebook, Loudmouth Radio Network, and you can share your insight about our content there. And if you want to listen to anything additional beyond today's message, you have the ability 24/7 on demand on all your favorite podcast platforms to pull up Loudmouth Radio Network, and that's Loudmouth with 2 Ds. So I'm signing off, guys. This has been my time for the day, and I hope that you're having a blessed one. Let's talk soon.
When I was diagnosed with cancer, it felt like my whole world came tumbling down.
Patient Advocate Foundation is here for you, providing free one-on-one practical support to patients with a cancer diagnosis. Call us at 800-532-5274. Patient Advocate Foundation can assist in navigating disability benefits and health insurance options. PAF also helps in accessing vital services, medications, and financial resources for both medical and household expenses. Visit patientadvocate.org or call 800-532-5274.
Amazon Delivery Service Partners are hiring full-time delivery drivers to meet growing customer demand. Receive compensation of at least $20 per hour at select stations, plus benefits, and a sign-on bonus of $1,000 from participating DSPs if you apply now. No delivery experience required. Must be 21 years or older. Terms apply. Apply today at amazon.com/driver. That's amazon.com/driver.